Hey, what's up? This is Eric Hinojosa. Welcome to the behind the scenes preview of my new film Moravia. Moravia was filmed in Medellin, Colombia. I actually just got back about a week ago from Colombia and am in the middle of editing. The film is going to be about 3 to 5 minutes long. And what you're about to see is the stuff that happened in between the takes, mostly. Here is Juan Guillermo. He is my DP, and this guy completely saved my life. When I arrived in Medellin, my camera was stolen, and then shortly after that, my assistant had to go back home with her camera. So I was alone in Medellin thinking, alright, let's make a movie! And that's exactly what I did. I started making phone calls. One person who knew someone else who knew Juan Guillermo, who had a Sony Z1. And when you attach my 35mm adapter to his Z1, you get these beautiful images. And I'm very, very happy with the way the picture quality came out. So much of the story itself grew out of the community. I had a script and I had the storyboards and everything planned out, but really with a film like this, there's only so much you can plan. Here are my two main actors, Marvin and Brian. Brian's in the red shirt. He's the protagonist. The story is very simple. You've got two brothers fighting, and the younger brother steals one of the older brother's skates, and the older brother is chasing him through the neighborhood. Here we're recording audio because the audio from the onboard mic didn't work out. The lettuce was humming too loudly. As I said before, so many elements of the story grew out. I should say so many details that you plan in most films you could not have planned. Like this girl here that the boys were just running past. She was hanging up laundry on the clothesline, and she just could not have been scripted. She could not have been cast better. Here we've got chickens. I wanted to have Brian jumping in the air and a chicken flying past right before he jumped. Here's the boy that owns the chickens, and I'm always nervous shooting with animals because I'm afraid something's going to happen. Here Marvin's going for the chicken, and I'm saying, Marvin, please don't do it. Listen to this music. In this neighborhood, you've got so much life and activity. Music is blasting from the I don't know, people's houses. Makes my neighborhood in the United States seem really boring. I love the part where this kid waves at him right as he's running away. This guy was riding on a roller skate down this steep hill, and we just happened upon him. This was the hill we were going to shoot on, and I thought that would be really cool if he was riding by on the skate right as Brian is running by. And here I'm asking this group of kids to turn their heads as Brian walks by. As you can see, I'm directing things, but it's kind of pseudo-documentary because these people were here already doing these things. I want to stress that you don't just show up in a place like this and start filming. I had the blessing of a community leader who was well respected, and my crew was local. Everyone that was helping me lived in the neighborhood. If you just show up and start shooting, you can have all the city permits and the police permission that you want, but that's not going to be, I think, what makes it successful. What made this so successful was the fact that everybody was helping me, and everybody in the community believed in it. We ran into these kids who were jump roping, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if Brian were to stop and jump rope a couple times and then keep going. I also want to point out that up until a few years ago, this neighborhood was extremely violent, and doing a film like this would not have been possible. And kids were not out in the streets playing all the time, especially not at night. Here was another kind of a gift scene. In a minute, we're going to have a girl holding what I presume is her little sister. She was here, just hanging out in this alleyway, a little callejon, and I asked her to look up in the air and kind of pensively. Here is another gift. This girl was dumping water into the street right as our principal was running through it, and I thought, I want him to dodge some water. And I asked her, could you please do this? And we had to do it so many takes to get it right. She thought it was pretty funny. She was a really good sport about it. And each time she wanted to refill the bottle, we had to pass it down to a gentleman on the ground level who was refilling it in his house. We're definitely not going to take this take. Poor, poor Brian. He was really, really good, but every once in a while he just couldn't stop smiling because he thought the situation was ridiculous. This is Anthony. The guy was wonderful. He's from the neighborhood, followed us around all day, helping with so many different kinds of odds and ends. He really deserves to have his name about 9 times in the credits. I really, really liked the fact that we had clothes hanging everywhere, people in balconies looking down. Here I'm asking people to come to a dance party. I needed to have a dance party at 2 o'clock, and it was 1 o'clock. This, to me, is one of the just most telling things about the Colombian people and this neighborhood. I needed the dance party, and an hour later, I had the people. You know, the leader of the Acción Comunal went around with a megaphone saying, "We need a dance party in 1 hour," and people came. Here I'm trying to get things started, but really, as you can see, it just kind of exploded and it started on its own. Here we've got the kids that took it upon themselves to be in charge of the equipment, and they really took it seriously, which is really just so inspiring. People do dance in the street in Colombia. They dance from the time that they're babies. I really wanted to make a Colombian film that was not about drugs because everything that you see and hear from Colombia is drugs. Whenever I talk to people in the United States and say, I'm going to Colombia to make a movie, they say, be careful, they're going to kill you. This guy here has a hat that I like a lot. It's kind of a traditional paisa hat. In Medellin, they call the people from Medellin paisas, and they have this very strong paisa culture that they're proud of. I really wanted to bring these kids into the dance party. It's stuff like this that I can't include in the final film that makes me really happy that I'm able to do this behind the scenes / director commentary thing because, you know, there's so many when you're filming, there are so many wonderful things you can't include. We shot 3 hours of footage, and there's no way I can include it all. These guys would walk around in megaphones selling whatever it is they were selling. People selling avocados would run through the streets with a megaphone saying, "Avocate! Avocate!" Like I said, I'm really enamored with balconies. I want you to notice this guy on the left brushing his teeth without his shirt on. He was watching the dance party, and I said, "Please, will you come out and join the dance party?" And he said, "Yeah!" and just jumped out there, brushing his teeth with everyone else. I'm really excited about that. Whenever I had originally done the casting for the film, we had a whole bunch of kids show up. And I felt really bad because a lot of hearts were broken whenever, I could only choose 2 principals and then also another actress. So I said, why don't you guys show up at this time? And I was able to do this playground scene where all the kids that didn't get picked as the main actor were able to be in the film. This kid was just playing the recorder on the street, and I said, will you please be in the film? And the song he was playing was somber, and I thought expressed how upset our main character is feeling. Can you imagine if someone were to buy that kid a flute and give him flute lessons? I mean, he was just playing the recorder out in the middle of the street. Here are some soccer scenes. The kid gets pushed down and gets back up, ties his shoe. That's the kind of thing when you're working with non-actors that are kind of, it's a gift. It happens and you could not have planned it, and it's just a beautiful little thing. Here are the professional soccer players of the neighborhood who were, strangely enough, the only people that I had a hard time getting in front of the camera. Everyone else was extremely gregarious and happy to be in there. This is more just clips of people hanging out, having fun in between the actual shoot. Well, the film's going to come out in about a few weeks for the film festival circuit. Here we're recording the audio. I was trying to find a quiet place to do it, and the neighborhood's pretty noisy. But yeah, the movie's going to come out soon. I hope you enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look at the making of the film. You could have been watching anything else on YouTube tonight, but you were watching this. And for that, I thank you. Take care, and peace to all.